And we are live. Morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great Saturday morning. Looking forward to a great day. I've got an exciting day. I'm like the kid on Christmas morning today because I get to go on the Discovery Bay Community Pop-Up Shop. It's a marathon. It's going to start at noon Eastern and go till 7. And I have volume to move, so I hope I see everyone there. And here's just a sneak peek of... Here's a sneak peek at what's going to be my kind of layout for the show. This is going to be like my starting salvo. We got to, of course, adjust the camera so you can see the comics a little bit more easily. But things like a lot of 5 what if books. This is the later run of what if, but everybody's digging these books right now. I have a few to part with. First couple are related to Wolverine. I think this is one of the few times they did an actual like issue to issue storyline, or it wasn't issue to issue, but it was like a follow up. Like this is issue 24, this is issue 37, and like the story in this continues in this somehow, or it's related to. So anyway, what X-Men, what more X-Men, what if? So this is like an X-Men centric what if lot. I've got the first Firestar miniseries, John Byrne's Babe, some Lobo appearances, cool Esad Ribic versus all 5 issues of the series, the Fury series by Ennis and Robertson. So I got some, I hope, well, this is my opinion, I got some tasty books to offer, and I'm going to be offering deals. My whole thing is to do lots for $5 at least to start. Then I've got some other things I'm going to throw out later if I get the opportunity to do higher price points. Hey, Discovery Bay, good morning. Good to see you, buddy. I know you're gearing up. Let me tell you what Discovery Bay's got going with this pop-up shop that he does for himself, but this community thing, it's perfect because it gives guys like me that don't have a huge channel yet. I don't have a gigantic following where, if I started trying to do this on my own, I might get 15 viewers, and you really need the volume of viewers to really be effective with selling on YouTube. So just I'll take the moment just to say thanks, Discovery, for inviting the community, especially me, to come on. I'm really looking forward to it. So I've got the amazing Coach Vic on the other side of the camera. How are you doing this morning, Victor?
I'm doing all right. Blessed and highly favored.
There. Now maybe they can hear you.
Blessed and highly favored. I'm doing good.
Cool. How's your week been going?
The week's been a little rough.
That's right. We had a show on Tuesday, and you had to miss it because you were feeling under the weather.
Yeah. I think I'm finally over it, but I still have to keep taking the amoxicillin.
Yeah. Been there. It's even worse when you've got a kid that doesn't want to take it. We went through like 2 weeks worth of antibiotics for one of my daughters to get over strep throat, and she wasn't having it. It was a tough go. So I'm going to try and tighten up my shows a little bit and be, I don't know why I'm wiping dust off the top of my camera during the live stream. But kind of have a little bit more of a format to it, not go quite as long as I've gone in the last 2. I definitely want to keep them under an hour and make sure I'm out of the way for John. It comes on at 11 Eastern. And so I just want to hit a few topics. And as I'm getting ready for Discovery's sale too, I still got a few things to do, like get my camera set up the way I want, things like that. So this is going to be maybe a shorter show, hopefully, and we'll just keep the format a little tighter. So the first thing I wanted to go over was part of the reason I'm hoping to do well today on Discovery's sale is that I'm planning to go in the C2E2, and that's about a month and a week away. Hey, Jim, how you doing? Jim Smalley, EIMB 1999. It's a close friend of mine. I work with him, talk to him just about every day through Skype. He lives in Canada, so he does a lot of modeling work for us.
Thanks.
So, like I said, I'm getting ready to go to C2E2 in a little over a month. and hopefully I'll have some success today on the sale, so I can take a little cash with me. And but one of the things I looked forward to most at going to a show, the thing I judge a show by is the guest list. Now I'm getting over that a little bit more, and I'm starting to get to the point where I'm more about finding good deals, which I'm not anticipating finding good deals at a big show like C2E2, but they always do have a huge guest list. I've always been a let's share a screen here. I've always been a autograph hunter, and I've stood in my share of lines, and I don't really want to do that anymore. But needless to say, I want to check out the guest list, see who there is, who's going to be there that I am interested in, that I'd be willing to maybe stand in a shorter line for. And you'll find that the bigger the name, the longer the line, historically. So, and I am not as big on what I'm seeing in today's new comic market, give or take. But big names like Donnie Cates is not going to be a big attraction to me, but he's going to be there. I know a lot of people are looking forward to see him. But other writers like Al Ewing, he's been doing a great job lately. But he's not a guy I'm going to go after. Amanda Connor's big name. Art Baltazar. Now, Art Baltazar might not be a huge name, like from coast to coast. He's a Chicago guy, so I've run into him several times. He is the greatest dude to meet in person. If you have a chance, I know he usually has a little bit of a line. Don't let that intimidate you. Stand in the line. He charges $1 for a sketch. $1 per character. So if you want the whole Teen Titans, whatever your version of the Teen Titans is, if it's 5 characters, it's going to be $5 sketch. And he draws with crayons, and he's got a real kind of like young reader kind of look to his art. But he worked on books like Tiny Titans in the recent past. But just a great guy to just stop by and say hi to. He'll call you sir. If you're a dude, he'll call you sir. Let's see. Babs Tarr, I know, is going to be a big one. She did a great run on Batgirl just a while back. Bob McLeod's a longtime inker. Did a lot of iconic work for the New Mutants and things like that. Let's see. Okay, so here's the first name that attracts me, and I've got Chris Claremont on the screen, but I've met him several times, so I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about Cary Nord. Cary Nord is an artist, in that when other artists look at his art, it doesn't matter how you good or bad you are, you admire what he does, just the way he does it. I don't think I've ever been to a show where he was there. Years ago, he did a run on Daredevil. More recently, he's worked on Conan the Barbarian and some Valiant books like Exo Manowar, I think, things like that. And I just love his style. And one of the things I'm thinking about, okay, what do I want to do when I go to the show? The biggest reason I'm going is to hang out with other YouTubers. Comic 84 is coming in. D Runk's coming in. JP will already be there. Who am I thinking? There are others. There's like Comic Books NYC. There are 5 or 6 guys coming in that are all going to hang out, and I hope to kind of tag along. But so I'm thinking, I don't necessarily, knowing that I'm not going to find a bunch of great deals at C2E2 as far as shopping for comics, I'm thinking maybe I'll go for some sketches. And if I do, Cary Nord is definitely one of the guys I'm going to hit up. I also follow him on Instagram, so I might kind of jump ahead and see what his rates are and see if he is willing to do an on-site sketch to go in my sketchbook rather than have him do a sketch ahead of time for me, a commission. See, who else have we got here? Cullen Bunn, Clayman, they're pretty big names right now. And the site is glitchy. Let's see, Cully Hamner is a great artist. He designed whatever costumes Jim Lee didn't design in the New 52, Cully Hamner did.
Yeah.
David Finch, David Mack are both big name artists. Donnie Cates, everyone knows Donnie Cates these days. Here's another name that I'm somewhat interested in, Doc Shaner. I've been aware of him since before he's become kind of more known. He's done projects for DC and things relatively recently, but I was aware of him 10 years ago, something like that. It's a pretty cool dude. Another guy I'd be interested in getting a sketch from. Talked about Art Balthazar. His buddy is Franco. They do a lot of work together, and their styles are similar, and they kind of write together and then do the art. One or the other will do the art on their books. Frank Cho, of course, is a huge artist name. Gail Simone is a writer. Wrote a long run on Birds of Prey years ago. Gene Ha is another Chicago area guy. Hillary Bard is another Chicago area guy. Jill Thompson is the wife of Brian Azzarello, but she's been a big time writer and artist herself. I read my daughter's her book. What was it, The Scary Godmother or something like that, and they loved it. So I might pick something up from her. James Tinian's a huge writer right now. He's writing Something's Killing the Children and Batman. Jim Lee, never heard of him. Jimmy Palmiotti, obviously, he's a longtime writer and inker. Let's see who else. The thing about the shows that Reed Pop organizes, which the show is organized by them, they just keep adding names up until like the day of the show. So you have to just check back all the time. The thing I like about the show in North Carolina, Heroes Con, is that every week they'll send out an email, or if you go to their site, they'll put like at the top of the list are the names they've just added to their show. So I really like that. I wish
so you don't have to hunt for them.
Right. So I wish C2E2 would do something like that. So here's another name that really caught my eye, Lee Weeks. I met him a couple of years ago at Motor City. Seems like a pretty humble guy to talk to, but he's another artist where you just look at his art and you're like, as another artist, you're kind of in awe of what he does. And it's not necessarily always like, technical skill or getting a real polish on it. It's just, or maybe it's, in the case of the artist I'm interested in, it's how much can they communicate with like maybe the fewest lines or fewest marks on a page and have it read, in a real dynamic way. So let's see. Michael Cho is a big cover artist right now. Mike Grell, huge Bronze Age artist. He's another guy I might be interested in getting a sketch from. He was actually at our local show last year, but I wasn't able to make the show. Patrick Gleason's another big name right now. Rod Rice is doing art on New Mutants these days. Ryan Otley, Ryan Stegman are both huge with the Spider-Man fans. Sean Gordon Murphy, I bet will have the next longest line to Donnie Cates. Sean Gordon Murphy, of course, doing the Batman White Knight stuff. Scotty Young, another big cover artist and lives in the Chicago area.
Is that the one that I showed you the other day?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Or like Batman on steroids.
Yep. Sean Murphy, yeah, that was him.
Oh, okay.
Terry Moore, the writer of Strangers in Paradise. There are two types of people. There are Terry Moore fans and people that never read Terry Moore books. So, Tom King, everybody's either love him or hate him, or sometimes it's possible to love some work of his and not others, and that might be the more common case, which was kind of odd. And Tyler Kirkham, another huge cover artist right now, and Tony Daniels is drawing Batman these days. So a really impressive guest list for the show, of which I'm interested in, by this quick count, 3 to 4 artists maybe. And like I said, I'm kind of over the days of standing in line, but like I said, I'm more than anything else just excited to see other YouTubers in person. It's not like, I go to Artist Alley, and I'm in awe and like get flabbergasted, and I'm like, "Can you sign this for me?" Whereas other YouTubers, you just like, I just want to go see buddies that I haven't actually spent face-to-face time with before. So let's see who else we got in the chat. We got Bake the Snake, JP Budget Collecting stopped in. Comics for Thomas is here. Hi, Alea Comic Bro, thanks for stopping in, man. So Coach Vic, have you ever gotten inside your head, your own head? Have you ever heard that before?
Oh yeah.
So what's your definition of that? What does that mean when that happens?
Like when you start overthinking things and start, like one time we had a game, end of the game, we are winning the game, and I'm like, okay, do I want to score or do I just want to hold the ball? I know my guards can't hold the ball because they can't. They'll turn the ball over. So we'll try to score. Now, do I want to do the obvious thing and try to score with my best player? Or do I want to try to be extra sneaky and score with the third best player on the court who has no business shooting the ball at all? And, and I call timeout, and the players say, Coach, let's just run this play. I'm like, okay. I look like a genius.
Well, you knew they were on board with it.
It's their idea.
So I got in my own head a little bit since the last time we did a video. And I really kind of got down on myself. I think what started it off is if you've gone and watched the last Saturday morning show that is posted right now, it looks terrible. I don't know what happened. There was something happened with the transfer from the live show, because I've gone and asked some of the people I knew were in the chat to see if the video quality was okay. And they said it was a little bit grainy, maybe. If you go back and look at it, it's unwatchable. And I got a little bit embarrassed about it. A little bit about my kind of background or personality is I'm your typical shy introvert. And so when I'm gearing myself up to, become brave enough to step out and do this YouTube thing, if a technical problem pops up, like just happened this week on our first live stream with a guest appearing, we're 25 minutes late because of technical problems. And it just totally puts me off my game. And so what that does in a case like me is, with my personality, is I start thinking, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this. And it's not even that maybe I shouldn't do it. It's refocusing on, why am I doing this? Why step out and talk about comics, be part of the community? And some of the reasons I landed on are more personal, but ultimately the result that I've landed on is that I just need to be a little bit more, I don't want to say be more honest with myself, but be more of myself and acknowledge the fact that I'm not going to necessarily be able to do everything I see everyone else out there doing. I've got other responsibilities, different responsibilities from everyone else. Everyone else has their own kind of set of things to do. And so like I said early in the show, I just wanted to kind of tighten up my format. So I'm going to start doing that a little bit. And so we are going to do this Saturday morning show pretty much regularly every 2 weeks. Morning, Comic 884. Going to do it every 2 weeks. And I want to make sure I come to you with a solid topic that viewers are going to be interested in. You're going to want to hear about. The content that I'm putting out there is going to be something that people are going to be craving, or at least will digest, and not it's not just me coming on here and just blabbering on about whatever is on my mind, like I'm doing right now. So next time I'm going to present to you my vision of the future, and it's dystopic. And what I'm talking about is how I see comic book collecting as a hobby coming to an end. And I'm going to bring pretty much my outlook on things as I see it, as it relates to not necessarily only comic books and their history and how they've performed in the past, but how I see other things, other hobbies, other genres, areas of interest, pop culture, pop culture interests that I've seen over the history of time, how they've kind of come and gone. And so next time I'm presenting to you how it all ends. Dun, dun, dun. All right,
Which is why he's selling all his books today.
Yeah. Part of it is I see some trends happening, and I want to kind of point those out, because one of the trends I'm seeing is big time collectors moving their books, and I'm only moving out the ones that I don't ever anticipate reading again, and there are plenty in my boxes that I haven't ever read that I hope to read one day, or at least be able to if I want to. Okay, so just a couple other things before we wrap this kind of abbreviated show up. I wanted to one of the things I've always wanted to do from the beginning is offer just a couple little mini bits to my shows, and one of them is going to be an unpopular opinion. And this unpopular opinion is somewhat comic book related, somewhat not right now, and that is that I don't like 4K TV. Now, J Hood, why are you mentioning this now? So everybody's been watching The Mandalorian, right? So we got Disney Plus, everything on Disney Plus. Up until now, we've had Netflix and all that stuff. It's been in 1080p. And I've watched a few things, like movies and stuff we've rented in 4K, and we always down-res it to 180. But you can't down-res anything on Disney Plus from 4K to 1080. If your TV will accept 4K, that's all you're getting. So I'm kind of force-fed it. And I'm looking at it, and it reminds me of stuff I see that was taped on video back in the day, like the Star Wars holiday special. Even though I know all kinds of production value went into the making of this show, The Mandalorian, it looks cheap to me. Like it's an episode of Doctor Who, the old Doctor Who, not the new BBC stuff. And it's one of those things that I'm the crotchety old man that can't take the new technology. I'm just gonna have to get over it, because unless Disney gives us away, we're gonna have to watch these creepy cartoons, all these Pixar movies where you can tell it's not real, folks. It's computer generated. But if you take it back, if you put just a little bit of a haze on it, you're like, oh, I can accept that that's happening, and you don't see it as a computer render.
Is that bad?
I think so.
Okay. We'll have to see before I leave now.
Okay. I mean, the thing that brought it up is that this week I've got a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I've kind of given them peeks at Star Wars, and until now they haven't been fans. But we were playing a game the other day, and I turned on Star Wars as background noise, and I was watching it like the original A New Hope Star Wars. I was like, man, this reminds me of the Star Wars holiday special. So anyway.
Well, I like the comment that EIMB has about why are they still making stuff letterboxed when 16.9 is standard TVs, or TVs are standard. And I was watching Picard the other day. Mm-hmm. Great show. I hate waiting a week for an episode, but great show. I'm like, it just hit me halfway through. I'm like, oh, that's in letterbox. It's like, why?
Yeah, it's a great point. And I know, of all people, Jim is going to agree with me on all these things, because he's very much against anything CGI, which he by trade is a craftsman.
Oh, okay.
So I can admire him about it. Yeah, he mentions, are you talking about the soap opera effect? It's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes. I think I know. Like, I remember my dad had this TV. This is before 4K. It was so creepily real. Looked like you just reach in and grab the people moving around. Yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, what it does is in what 1080p, if you've got somebody in the foreground and there's kind of a washed out background where it's like the background's kind of blurry. There's enough noise in it, even though it's in a high def, there's enough noise in it that there was some movement back there, even though you don't pick up on it.
Mm-hmm.
And with this, the background is perfectly still, like it never moves, and you've got this guy kind of moving in front of it. And yeah, it drives my wife nuts. She hates it more than I do. Hey, Immortal Biggie Shack, good to see you. All right, so I don't want to leave on a down note like that though. So I'm going to show you something that I feel is, I'm not going to call it I'm going to call it overlooked. It's underappreciated work. Okay, and we're talking comic books now. So a lot of people know the name Matt Kindt these days. He's done recent work for DC, and he's done a lot of work for Valiant. And he's always been an independent creator. And a lot of times he's done longer form books, such as this. And he initially publishes his work as hardcovers. They're relatively thick works. And then he'll go on and do soft covers. So anything that's basically available from him in hardcover, I believe is usually available in soft cover. And he both does the art and draws writes a story and draws art, obviously. And he does these, not always, but in a lot of cases, it's monotone illustration work. And it does look very independent, but the storytelling is spot on. Like you never are at a lack for what you're looking at. If you see him in a show, I've seen him at C2E2 before. If you buy a book from him, he'll do a remark on it for free without even asking. He'll just, as you're paying, he's opening up the book and drawing in it. I've seen.
Oh, he drew that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was just part of the book.
No, the logo was there, but the illustration and everything underneath he drew.
Nice.
If you get a commission from him, you're going to get a full page watercolor illustration. So these are two books that I just happened to pick up off my shelf. Super Spy and 3 Story. A lot of his work has to do with like their spy stories, like Super Spy. It's a bunch of separate stories that once you reach the end, you realize how they're all connected. And then if you read Super Spy and then come back and read 3 Story, the subhead is The Secret History of the Giant Man, which is like, okay, it's a cool independent idea of, hey, this guy really, he didn't stop growing. He became a giant. That's kind of cool. Well, this is spy oriented too. It's something you wouldn't pick up just from the book cover. So once you start reading all of his separate works, you realize that there are themes and crossovers from one to the other as well. You happen to do this one in full color. So if you're looking for something interesting that's not superheroes, maybe you want to take a break, find something new or different that's still interesting, I recommend work by Matt Kindt. So I'm just checking out the chat here. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up soon. Like I said, I'm going to be on Discovery Bay's pop-up shop marathon this afternoon. Hope to see everyone there. Again, for those latecomers, it's going to be kind of my layout. We've got everything from 5 X-Men related what-ifs for $5, but pretty much I'm not going to do any dollar lots. I'm going to do everything I'm doing is going to be $5 or more. And but you can see kind of the spread there. Nick Fury by Anthony Robertson. Some Dan Jurgens Justice League. I'm going to try and do the best mix of products at any given round, so that there's something for all kind of different kind of tastes. Thanks, Biggie. Are you going to be on the shop as well? I wasn't sure. I know you were showing some stuff last night on one of the streams. I wasn't sure if you're going to be in it or not. One of the other deals I'm doing though is if you buy enough from me, I'm going to do art for you. So my price points are going to be, if you spend $35, to me that's a healthy amount of product. You're going to get either a sketch card or maybe a larger black and white sketch. Sketch cards are going to be in full color. And if you spend $75 with me, that's quite a commitment. I'm going to do a full sketch cover, a black and white sketch cover. I've got some Batman and a Catwoman and maybe a Wolverine or something like that. Okay, so you'll be popping in. We look forward to seeing you anyway. So here's what here's what you might get for if you're spending $35 with me. Here's a look at what you would get at the $35 level. So that, don't let this fool you. The illustration you see there fits on this card, which is about the size of a cell phone. So at $35, you might get something like that, and I'll work with you. I'll do whatever character you want, or it might be bigger. This was just on a piece of mailer. I did that for someone recently. So those are at the $35 level. If you want to spend $75 with me, you get the bonus of you're going to end up with a stack of comics. Because when I get into some of the higher price points, the $10, $15, and $20 price points, if I get around to doing that today, I've got some lots with stacks and stacks of books. So at $75, you're going to get a full sketch cover. I'm not going to promise it's going to be in color like this one, but it'll be probably a full black and white, covering pretty much the whole cover though. So, that's what we're looking at. That was
a nice cover.
Hey, Bonafide Comics, good to see you. We're going to have Bonafide Comics hopefully on our next issue at hand, and we're going to cover Nightwing 25, which I have across the room. Coach Vic is grabbing it. Thank you. Nightwing 25. Mine happens to be signed, but it's a fun issue. Chuck Dixon and Scott McDaniel with a Nightwing and Robin team up. It'd be a great book to go over. All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap it up. I'm going to be on for as long as possible on Discovery's show, so I don't want to take too long to do this show, but I want to make sure I kind of stuck to my schedule and delivered as I intend. So I want to thank everybody for stopping in. We still got Immortal Biggie Shack, Mortified Comics, EIMB 1999, Bake the Snake. Thanks for coming, guys. I really appreciate the support, and we'll see you next time. And remember, faith, family, and comic books. We'll see you in an hour and a half.